Grom, 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 Grom. Honda has sold a whopping 100 million Super Cubs since their inception in 1958. You heard that right, 100 million. These small bikes were pivotal to the development of the brand and helped make Honda a household name that was recognizable beyond just bikers and motorsports enthusiasts. Motorcycles were no longer just for bad boys with a pack of Marlboros rolled in their sleeves. Moms, dads, children, even dads, mistresses, and practically every type of suburban normie you could imagine were being sold on the idea of easy, fun, and reliable two-wheel transportation by the mid-1960s. Not only does Honda still produce the Super Cub, but they have a whole mini moto line of small motorcycles for different applications. Maybe a small displacement mini bike is the best choice for cheap and fun transportation in the current socioeconomic climate. I'd rather ride a $3,500 mini bike up to the office than a Tesla or an electric motorcycle. Let's go through Honda's mini bike lineup so you can see which model might be right for you. Do you need a Super Cub to complement your soy boy suburban lifestyle, or maybe a Grom with the stretched swing arms to let everyone know that your parents are first cousins? Maybe you need a Trail 125 to assume ultimate authority over the adventure dads. Let's dive in. Before we get started, make sure to click the notification bell to stay up to date on all our new videos. Grom. Market research told Honda that consumers wanted a motorcycle that was unintimidating, easy to ride, and easy to maintain. The Super Cub would become a cultural phenomenon. It was the focus of Honda's NICE campaign, an incredibly successful marketing attempt that sold the consumers on the idea of an easygoing lifestyle and the brand more than the product itself. The Super Cub was designed to be sold as more of a consumer appliance than the motorcycle that went into production as the design ethos as well as the functionality. The Super Cub has a plastic side panels that were crucial in the design rhetoric that implied this is not a motorcycle. They covered much of the engine and chain and also helped keep the oil, grease, and road debris off of the rider. Remember, these were designed to be the anti-motorcyclist motorcycle, where you could wear your nice clothes and ride the Super Cub to work without showing up looking like a one-percenter in oil-stained Levi's. Much of the design of the Super Cub has stayed the same since 1958, and the 2022 model year looks relatively unchanged next to it. It has the same step-through design and larger wheels and tires that made it more capable than the European scooters of the time. Though they look similar, there have been quite a few mechanical updates over the years. The Super Cub was first released with a 50cc single-cylinder four-stroke engine that made a whopping 4.5 horsepower and 2.4 foot-pounds of torque while weighing only 150 pounds. Those kind of sound like my specs while I'm out cycling. Those figures might be small, but you have to at least go 1 decimal point further for full effect. They had 3-speed semi-automatic gearboxes where the rider was able to shift through the gears without the use of a clutch. And while this was a great way to appeal to people who were not familiar with the manual transmission, anecdotally it has been said that it was one of Takeo Fujisawa's requirements for the Super Cub. He said that it had to be able to be ridden with one hand so the rider could carry a tray of soba noodles. He said, "I don't know how many soba noodle shops there are in Japan, but I bet every shop will want one for deliveries." And an automatic clutch helped facilitate this requirement. Noodles, making the world go round. The Super Cub continued to see updates as various models were released that increased displacement and modernized components. 60 years later, in 2018, Honda released the Super Cub C125, which is the model still available today. Honda bumped the displacement all the way to 125 cc's in the 4-stroke single-cylinder engine. It more than doubled the power of the original by making 9 whole horsepower and 7 foot-pounds of torque. The Super Cub is now fuel-injected and has a 4-speed gearbox with the same semi-automatic clutch for easy shifting for novices or street Rossis that want to bang up and down gears as fast as possible. This bike has a hydraulic front disc brake and even front wheel ABS. It still uses 17-inch tires, which make it more capable in areas with less than ideal road conditions. It weighs in at 238 pounds and costs just $3,799 new from the dealer. Grom. The Honda Trail series is another perfect example of the way in which Honda listened to the consumer and made a motorcycle that fit the needs of the marketplace. Man, this is getting so nerdy. Story has it, in 1960, a Honda dealership in Idaho was selling more Super Cubs than 6 dealers in Los Angeles combined. A sales manager from Honda went to investigate and found that the dealer was outfitting the bike with Navi tires and modified gearing to increase torque and better perform on the trails. The small stature and automatic clutch made these little modified 50cc bikes a perfect entry to get new people riding off-road and to peruse their farms. Honda adopted this dealer's modified Super Cub and put it into production in 1961 as the trail variant before it ultimately ultimately became its own line of motorcycles a few years later. The trail bikes have had quite a few iterations in the 1960s, but the style and functionality has stayed true to the original. Honda still currently produces the Trail 125 that shares the same 125cc engine as the Super Cub and makes the similar 9 horsepower and 7 foot-pounds of torque. It has the same semi-automatic 4-speed gearbox, but utilizes a slightly larger 39-tooth rear sprocket for more lower-end power on the dirt. It is only slightly heavier than the Cub, weighing in at 259 pounds. In order to be more capable off-road, the Trail 125 is outfitted with semi-Navi dual-sport tires, upswept exhaust, and a skid plate. It has slightly larger forks with 4 inches of suspension travel to soak up bumps and roots in the trail. The Trail 125 also has a hydraulic disc brake in the front, but unlike the Super Cub, it has a disc brake in the rear as well. It has a larger 1.4-gallon gas tank, lightly contributing to the increased curb weight and rear cargo rack behind the seat. It is not a performance machine, but it was never intended to be one. It is a fun and functional little bike that can get you around town or down a trail or two. The Honda Trail 125 cost $3,999 from the dealer, so only slightly more than the Super Cub, and with a few off-road extra components, it might be a worthwhile upgrade for the right rider. Grom. The next bike in Honda's Minimoto lineup is none other than the Honda Grom. The Grom has become one of the most popular motorcycles as of late, as it appeals to both beginners and seasoned riders who want to let their hair down and goof around a bit on 2 wheels. It has the same 125cc single-cylinder engine in the Super Cub and the Trail 125, but unlike those retro offerings, the Grom is equipped nowadays with a manual 5-speed transmission, making it a little more engaging while cruising around town. Plus, you can do clutch-up wheelies if you really lean back and try really hard. Spoiler alert, I can't wheelie a Grom. It makes about 10 horsepower and 8 foot-pounds of torque while weighing just 223 pounds. And when I say a little more capable, I am putting an emphasis on a little. The Grom has a top speed of 60 miles per hour and is likely in ideal conditions. Downhill and fully tucked in with the wind at your back, you can see up to 65 or 66. But you don't buy a Grom for top speed, you buy it for fun. Little bikes have a way of tugging on your heartstrings and making you feel like a little kid again as you jump curbs and break the rear tire loose. It's just a low-stakes hooligan machine. Grom is far more contemporary in its styling compared to the Super Cub or Trail 125. It almost looks like a little baby naked bike shot with a shrink ray. And if you have a different look in mind, these bikes are super customizable. A few years back, we had 2 Groms as a giveaway bike, one that we outfitted as a scrambler and the other in full ADV spec. You can slap an aftermarket exhaust on it, stretch the swing arm, or put in a stunt cage. Really, the only Grom faux pas is leaving it in stock form. Groms are available brand new for the low price of $3,499. Grom. Another mini bike from Honda is the Honda Monkey. The Honda began making the Z line of mini bikes in 1961 using that same air-cooled 50cc single-cylinder engine from the Cub and the Trail line. These bikes made 4.5 horsepower and nestled neatly in a hardtail frame that was designed for busting your coccyx on any sort of potholes or road debris. These bikes were designed for kids that were goofy as hell with tiny generator tires and handlebars off a Schwinn Beach Cruiser. They made the Monkey until 1999, then after the success of the Grom in 2018, Honda brought back the Monkey and utilized most of the Grom's mechanical components to cash in on all those sweet boomer bucks. It is the same 125cc single that makes 10 horsepower and 8 foot-pounds of torque and now has a 5-speed gearbox. Performance-wise, it is leaps and bounds ahead of the original Monkey mini bikes and mostly just shares the same name based on the styling. The Honda Monkey has a retro feel, sort of a scrambler version of a Grom. It has chrome fenders, upswept exhaust, and a little round peanut gas tank and a flat stitch seat. The appeal of the Monkey is the same as that of the Grom. It's meant for goofing around and mobbing around town with your friends who are also on mini bikes. Oh yeah, that's the only other mini bike faux pas. You can't ride them alone. If you see one mini bike, you better believe there's a pack of at least 6 or 12 coming shortly soon after. The Honda Monkey cost $4,199. The last motorcycle, maybe scooter, in Honda's Minimoto lineup is the Navi. First off, the Navi cost $1,807 from a dealership. That alone is kind of insane and worth mentioning and investigating right off the bat before you look any closer at this bike. It has a carbureted 109cc single-cylinder engine that makes 8 horsepower and 6.6 foot-pounds of torque while being cooled with what could be a fan off of a gaming PC. What makes this bike interesting is it has a fully automatic CVT-style transmission, negating the need to shift at all. I think that officially makes it a scooter, but some people will disagree with me. me. The Navi was designed for the Indian market and debuted in 2016 at the Delhi Auto Expo before being released in America for the 2022 model year. It is designed as an entry-level commuter bike, and with that super low price point, there aren't too many features to comment on. In true scooter fashion, it is a neat little compartment at the front of the bike that is useful for storing your Pokemon cards and Dragon Ball Z lunchbox. The Navi is meant for riders who really just want a machine that is a little bit more fashionable than a normal pass-through scooter and has a commanding riding style of a small motorcycle. It weighs only 236 pounds. It is an incredibly approachable 30-inch seat height. The Navi costs just $1,807 from a dealership. So there you have it. Over 60 years later, Honda still loves their mini bikes and they sell a bunch of them. I can guarantee you that broken out, the mini bike P&L over at Honda probably subsidizes most of their racing efforts. They have a full lineup of small displacement machines, each with their own unique flavor and application. It is cool to see Honda stay true to the legacy and really make a motorcycle that anybody can ride without having to adopt the biker lifestyle. And that's also why Honda is for nerds. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. Maybe we'll do more videos on mini bikes, Doodlebug versus Pocket Rocket races or something. Time will tell. Fact: in 1993, Earring Magic Ken became the biggest selling Ken doll of all time, which was mainly because gay men bought them due to the way he was dressed and the fact that he appeared to be wearing a ring as a necklace. Mattel later recalled the dolls and issued the statement, "We are not in the business of putting rings into the hands of little girls." Goodbye.